It's 5 o'clock at Khamampuru village in Stillport, Mpumalanga. These miners are off to work at Vantech, a Vanadium mine. They're lucky to have jobs in a part of our country where there is very little industry. They're also lucky to have their health. Over the past 2 years, almost half of the workforce at Vantech mine has been laid off. Most of them suffered from headaches, coughing, and chest pains. Some were diagnosed with permanent asthma, even liver or kidney failure. They say the cause is overexposure to vanadium dust and fumes. On this bus, most of them don't want to know about their health status. They're scared being ill might cost them their job. In villages like this one at Matlashi, there is no infrastructure. Jobs are scarce in this part of the world. For those who don't work on the mines in the area, life passes slowly. They watch the sun rise and the sun go down. Alfred Komani is one of those who once had a job at Vantech mine. Then he became ill with asthma and soon afterwards was retrenched.
Bakhulumile bathi mabangikhiphile basothi ngenyanga banikeze imali ngaphansi komholo wami. Bebasakhuluma nami ngaleso sikhathi basongikhipha. Bathi ngithe ngiyayibheka le mali angiyithola. Mangithi ngiyababuza bathi bona basayingena indaba yami. Mangaba mhlambe bekhona into engisoyifundela ngokubhala mhlambe bengizozama mara into yokuphakamisa ngesandla ngoba ngiphakamisa ngalesi sifuba ngeke ngokwazi ukusebenza.
For 45-year-old Alfred, losing his job at Vantech was traumatic, not only because he was ill, but because it meant that he might never find a job again. Jobs are hard to come by. The security of a permanent job at Vantech is gone, and he has been reduced to poverty.
Ngana nazo zi-8 manje uyabona ukuthi njalo inyanga nenyanga uthenga milimili nesakala sukiri, milimili nesakala sukiri neflour, nefish oil nensipho sesiphelile. Kufanele ngihambe ngicela laba banekudla bangikhiphele net ngebucket ye4 ngizokwazi ukupheka leli ngaleli langa ngidle. Amanye amalanga mangaba akunalwansisa.
This boiling kettle is not for tea or morning pap. These are luxuries this family can't afford. The kettle boils all day long, and Alfred's family watch the steam rise, not knowing where or when the next meal will come from. This family's struggle is not only about finding food, but also with the illness that Alfred now has.
Yeah.
As a chronic asthmatic, he needs at least one of these asthma pumps a month to help him breathe. Every month, Alfred has to hike 100 kilometers to Vantech's company doctor for an asthma refill. He can't afford the 40 rands taxi fare to take him there.
Le doctor kamba. Le doctor kamba nangibhala ukuthi ngine asthma na.
These papers were the start of a life sentence. Vantech workers with asthma symptoms are sent to Pretoria for a lung function test. This expensive and sophisticated test was demonstrated on me. An asthmatic lung takes much longer to blow out air before the next breath can be taken. Asthma is not detectable by X-ray. This test is the only way to find out whether you have asthma and how far the disease has progressed.
We are going to do a lung function test, and for that reason we're going to measure flow, the speed with what you breathe out and you breathe in. Inhale as deeply as possible, and then to force the air out as quickly and as far as possible. That's right. Just ordinary breathing. In again.
Workers from Vantech call this the red card test. They know it usually leads to retrenchment. They also call Dr. Izikla the goodbye man. His findings usually signal the end of their jobs.
Once a substance has been identified, that worker should no longer be working in that particular factory, and that is probably a permanent limitation.
Vantech produces nearly 20% of the world's vanadium. Vanadium is used to strengthen steel and in the production of glass, inks, and ceramics. During production, potentially harmful gases and dust are released. These have no smell. Dr. Izikla has done a recent study on the link between vanadium and respiratory diseases. He used a sample of 40 Vantech employees. All had asthma symptoms.
We must be sure to understand it's not 100% proven yet that vanadium is actually the cause in these workers, but we have a pretty strong suspicion that in fact it is.
Between 1998 and 2000, 160 Vantech workers were declared medically unfit to work, but the company does not agree with those who say workers were unfairly retrenched. They have a medical separation agreement with the National Union of Mine Workers. This allows them to legally pay off workers when they become too ill to work. Medical separation agreements are common at mines, but should diseases contracted in the workplace be treated in the same way as workplace accidents? How ethical is it to make workers sign a payout agreement when it means they agree to their own retrenchment?
Unhealthy and unsafe conditions are not being picked up by the Department of Labour, or in many instances by the Department of Minerals and Energy. And these conditions are continuing. Employers are making decisions on rands and cents. And when they're making rands and cents decisions, workers' health is being pushed aside. It just doesn't feature as a cost. And this is what is wrong with our scheme, with our compensation scheme.
Those workers actually got lump sum amounts. And at the point where they were leaving. And between that time and when they are supposed to get the compensation from the commission, they were not getting any salary. Therefore, in our view, that's a breach of the agreement that we have with the company.
The benefits are trifling. Now, no doubt the company will say, well, it was negotiated with the union. Look, I accept that. But that doesn't mean that it's adequate or that it's appropriate. The burden of this disease is being passed on to the community and on to the state, but perhaps more than anything else upon their families. Their families are going to go hungry. Their children are going to go without shoes.
After 3 weeks, Extractor Vantech still refused to comment on the record. The more we tried to include them in this program, the tighter the doors seemed to close. They refused to let us film inside the mine. So we boarded the early morning bus. We wanted to see what safety measures they take to protect workers from dust and fumes. But the closest we got to the inner workings was this change room, 2 kilometers from the main mine. And the closest we got to understanding what goes on inside the mine was a report by the Department of Mineral and Energy Affairs released 2 weeks ago. It states that overexposure mainly to vanadium did cause occupational diseases in some Vantech workers. It found that in some areas, workers' exposure to hazardous substances like vanadium pentoxide was 31 times higher than what should safely be allowed. Workers received inadequate training. Training guidelines for supervisors didn't even clarify what training their workers should receive. In some of the most hazardous areas within the plant, the controls that were supposed to be built in to safeguard the workers were not effective. Mine procedures were not complied with. This caused problems in the use and maintenance of the so-called 3M respirators the company had introduced. Workers felt that the respirators had shortcomings when it came to working in hot conditions.
Strata is not a South African company purely. It is an international company, it is a Swiss company, and it has come here and it is seen maybe as an investment process. And if you then seeing it as an investment process, and you then get the people of that country now being represented by the workers themselves and their union, raising problems about health and safety standards in this company, you are then chasing investors away.
In many cases, workers don't want to push health and safety issues because they are concerned that it will cost them their jobs. Management will tell them, look, if we have to eliminate harmful dust from this workplace, we'll have to close down. We can't afford it. So workers say. They don't say it consciously and openly, but they accept these arguments and they accept the fact that they must work in an unsafe work environment.
And
Did they ever do tests and tell you what exactly is in here? What is what stuff?
Yes, we had some.
Vila Duvenage was a foreman at Vantech. After 28 years on the mines, he too has lost his job due to illness. On the way to meet his family, we drove past Vantech, his former workplace.
Vantech het basies eers geld gespandeer om te kyk na sy mense, 98, 99. Voorheen moes ons maar die plant aan die gang hou en ons moes sorg dat die produksie loop en laat ons improvement kan doen, dat ons kan bewyse lewer aan die shareholders dat hulle nou hulle geld nou hier belê het ten koste van mense se gesondheid. Retrenchments het begin in 97, 98 het medical retrenchment het die hoogte ingeskiet.
That evening we were shocked to find that Vila's two sons had also been declared medically unfit to work and lost their jobs at Vantech, 23 and 27 respectively. They too have the dreaded red card disease, asthma.
Yes, wanneer laat het ons nou as pa en seuns so om 'n vuur gestaan?
Nog laas week vir Vantech gewerk het en my mou was 3 gebly. Nadat hy vir ons uitmekaar uitgejaag het, het ons elkeen maar ons eie koers omgeslaan. Ja, so werk die dinge maar.
Today, all 3 Duvenage men are unemployed. Retrenchment came as a shock to them. The life they'd known was suddenly ripped out from under them.
Ja, hy's 'n bietjie.
The pressures of 2 years' unemployment are huge. The family had to borrow money to prepare this meal. This is not even their house. After Vila was declared medically unfit to work, they were given just 3 days to leave their Vantech home. Today, they live in a rondavel on Vila's brother's plot. Tonight, they're joined by Jula Makofane and a former colleague. She used to be employed as a medical nurse at Vantech. She says that she was dismissed when she started speaking out about the dangers of vanadium.
So ek sê Vantech het my vir my down gedoen het. Is die feit hier's ek, hier's Johan, hè? Jy ken ons, né? Dan gaan doen ons aansoek vir 'n werk. Dan vra hulle vir jou vorige werk, waar het jy voor dit gewerk? Okay, Vantech. Yes, ja, is 'n groot myn. Hoekom is jy weg by Vantech? Medies ongeskik.
A reason for termination.
Ja, jy's 'n sieklike mens.
How old are you, John?
23.
Now, when you left Vantech, how old were you?
21.
Already having permanent. Are you also having asthma? Permanent
Asthma and
typical
bronchitis.
Asthma.
Julia, ons het al so 'n patroon gevolg, nê. As hulle vir jou sê, gaan sien dokter Ziegler, dan kan jy al klaar vir almal baie sê.
Rofweg 28 jaar het ek elke jaar my rooi kaart gepas by ander myne. Ek het hom by Vantech het ek hom 3 keer gepas. Hoekom die 4de keer? Wil Vantech nou vir my vertel dat in 1 jaar se tyd het ek asma opgebou.
Have you ever before, maybe where you are sitting as management, explained to you to say this is krefter of what?
Nee, management het nooit na ons toe gekom en vir ons gesê, hoorie, pas op, vanadium is giftig. Hoor die ouens praat van hulle kry blou tong.
Blou tong, ja.
Dan weet jy vanadium. As jy onder by die kliniek kom, dan vat hulle urine toetse en cetera. Hierdie manne, almal, kom hulle na my toe en sê hulle bas my baas.
It's a day later. Alfred Komani and 3 of his neighbors at Mahlashi village are getting ready to drive to Beggarsford. They all once worked for Vantech.
Fema ke kinyaka gore fema impatele ditšhelete tsaka go fitlha ka gore ke sana le bana ba bannyane ene bana ba la baka bana bjale ba bangwe ba šetse ba swakile ke tse gore na ba šetse ba ile dipolasengana ba sa ruta le go ruta dikolo.
Company ya rena ga botse ke company e le gore ya bolaya.
In Beggarsford, they'll be joining other Vantech ex-workers in a support group organized by Julia. They are trying to put pressure on the mine to compensate them properly, and they want Vantech to admit they robbed them of their health. Julia Makofane is the only woman at this meeting. The men trust her.
Rena ba ile gore re be re ba direla mmereko itse gore ba tsentse challenge ba nyala se isha felo ka re maphelo a rena go molaleng bana bjale go molaleng gore mosadi ga go je o na le mosadi le bana ka molapeng go ba sa jisele ba shwelana ba sepele ba go shia moši ka molapeng ka baka la Vantech.
Go na le ba mogare ga lena ba kile ba ba isha training ka morago ba ntšhitše ya gone gore mohlomongwe o tlo tšama bona gore na o dirang ka yona training.
Ge o ka fotswelela wa re go na le sekolwana sengwe sa security ka e ke lo ithuta go security mo ba go botsa straight gore sekolo se se mo molaong so o kampane o e
Ba
vetsa
le fa bona list ya dikolo tse di lago molao gore mohlomongwe at least gore o ye go gongwe e ka ba driving school e ka ba welding e ka ba dilo tša mokutong gore ka moraga mo o ka kgona go ditirela it's on your own. E mohlomongwe a tseba gore ge a tloga gae go be a gakanega gore go nagana gore o na le asthma mo go lena.
Ke bone gore ke sona se tlolago malwetse ke asset le go Vantech e no tšhelwa ka mo letamong le re bereka mo go lona e no tšhelwa jwale ka pipe ya metsi jwale ene ntho ela e ganana le metsi a fišang e ganana le protection e le ka re protection e la e apewile ya fiša metsi era le ona a fiša ge asset le e tsena mole e ntšha smoke se sengwe se se ntšhera smoke se once se feta mo wene so loko ka re wa pešitše ke ntho engwe e lomang o tshwanetse ke tima ka lebelo e metsing o hlapahlape gore at least o bua le morago smoke se se ke sa go fitlhela sorry o e berekiša so
Le di berekišitše ka moka dihlare tšele bana.
ke performa tšao ke dithoko tša go goga tšao
ke no šala fela ke lebitla ko ka mantša mang ke lebitla le le phelago le hlokago mo lefatetšwego gona.
He is liable to have attacks in the future if they are not treated. And if you're asking, can an asthma attack result in death, and the answer is yes.
You know, the situation is such that for many workers, even if they are sick, they'd rather carry on working in an unhealthy environment than be retrenched.
The men in the support group say the Vantech company doctor never explained their condition properly to them. We tried to get an interview with Dr. Visser at his private practice in Leidenberg. He refused to speak to us on camera without Vantech's permission. Yet another closed door. Elias Paswane is still a Vantech worker. He's been diagnosed with chemical bronchitis. The workers call this the yellow card, the last stage before the red card, asthma.
The truth is, in South Africa, you can kill and maim workers with impunity. You can throw them out, you can discard them like dirt. You can hire new ones and there's an endless supply of young, healthy men to come and work for you, and you can throw them away without consequence.
Elias is 57 years old. He says he takes home 1,000 rands a month. He's worked at Vantech for 9 years. Soon, he expects to be diagnosed with asthma.
Ushuma mo centeng ya production. Ke nna ke dirang yona production eo. Ke mo go leng meiši ka moka ya yona e fao ke leng gona mo re gohlodiša ke mošura re tsena montse gantši re apere dilo tse dingwe di thibelang mare di thibela go bona mošuo o seng wa re tsena mara o no re tsena di na di le gona tsona management o care fela ga e le go bone ke ntšha vanadium e ya rekwa ka nna gore ke a kula awa.
What kind of protective clothes do they give you? Banipa in Napayan. Describe it to me.
Ke apara di patjana le borokgo bona mo le di boots le respirator le di hand gloves go feletse lwa.
So is it Manatela?
A ye go tšhetše ke timela ka metsing o tsena ka metsing ga gona se sengwe se go
Sana is it protective clothing basically?
no a di company a di gona.
Manje wena waye bakukhuluma. Ameno nomntana onathu. Awusabi?
Ga ke tšhore ba ka nthaka nako engwe le engwe ga ba nthake ga gone taba jale ka ga šitše le bone ba mpolae ke no bereka jale ka ga e le bone ke a bereka mara ga ke kgotsofala ka ngwana o bolaya ke tlala ke bereka gona o ne o bolaya ke tlala ngwana o ke bereka gona ka go tšhelete la ke ba mphang yone ga e mo fepe ngwana.